Asian learners often struggle to relate to the English language because English is disguised in familiar words with the unexpected forms. Compared to European language speakers, Asian learners encounter the subtleties of specific sounds, peculiar sentence structures, and patterns of word arrangements of the English language. The success of second language education hinges on providing a well-suited solution that resolves obscurities between the two languages and ensures learners to conceptually understand the essential rules of the target language. The misconceptions about the process of second language education have ensnared both educators and learners in an unbreakable loop, unable to make educational progress. One of the biggest mistakes of second language educators and their learners is to remain fixated on the target language while disregarding the rules, and to believe learning a language naturally. There's no such thing as learning a language, whether it's the first or second. The essence of language is not imitation, but creativity. One study shows at as young as 4 years of age, native-speaking children apply rules for the formation of plural, present progressive, past tense, third singular, and possessives. What feels very natural and benign to native speakers is the most unnatural and adverse to learners because the very concepts, forms, or rules do not exist at all in their native language. It is entirely irrational to encourage learners to acquire something that doesn't exist naturally and spontaneously. It is educators' duty to clearly identify the sources of obscurity within a learner's native language in relation to the essential English rules. The missing piece of second language learning puzzle is the essential rules of the target language, and acute awareness of its essential concepts that have no counterparts within a learner's native language. The basic English rules can fully be acquired only when learners are able to relate them to their existing cognitive structure, their own native language system, and reach the meaningful level of language. The forms of English language provide the bedrock of creativity, and a learner's native language unlocks the mystery. The intricate nature of the second language learning process requires a meticulous learning method, aligned with learners' unique difficulties, directly originated from their native language. At present, this missing piece is too often absent at the most basic level, regardless of learners' ages, education, and proficiency levels. The bottom line is the greater the causes of obscurity that exist between a learner's native language and English, the more concrete approach a learner will need that is aligned with his or her linguistic foundation and its distinct challenges. At the most basic level, Asian learners are held back from achieving the functional use of English language since they are conceptually unaware of the essential English rules. Placing a high value on a learner's native language in order to resolve the sources of obscurity is the key to achieve English language proficiency. The causes of obscurity and unique difficulties of learners around the world have been put on the back burner. It's the one-size-fits-all approach that overlooks learners' distinct challenges originated from the direct influence of their native language. Learners around the world are pigeonholed into this oversimplistic method of language learning. This oversimplistic method of language learning has neglected the pressing needs of learners around the world. It has made educators ineffective for too long, unable to identify the sources of linguistic ambiguity and complexity that led their learners astray. There's no way around it but to squarely face up to the so-called inhibiting effects of a learner's native language on English in order to successfully overcome the sources of obscurity. I'm on a mission to change the narrative around second language education. I've been watching Asian learners' generational struggles unfold in the process of acquiring English as their second language. As an ESL learner myself, my English skills are no match for native English speakers' fluency. However, I'm in awe of the two completely different languages, Korean and English. Using my native language, Korean, I'm able to break down the intricate language learning process that has long been considered as something that cannot be observed at the most basic level. I have a clear sense of purpose as I found myself between two languages and two groups of people in a state of unawareness. English language learners who don't know what they don't know versus native speaking educators who don't know the sources of obscurity of their students. My role is to show native speakers the hidden and inexplicable concepts that define the structures of English in relating to a learner's native language. I feel obliged to help other learners become aware of the perpetual shackles of the unresolved sources of obscurity and surface imitation in the grand scheme of things. I want to offer detailed insights on how Asian learners associate new sounds, the different structures of sentences, and the word pairing combinations and their meanings, with learners' existing cognitive structure, their own native language system. I'm offering the missing piece of the second language education puzzle in the form of a concrete and practical model that produced major breakthrough results. My concrete model is based on a schematization of the English basic rules of its phonology, grammar, and word pairing combinations. It zeroes in on the distinct challenges that Asian learners are confronted with by comparing English to a learner's native language. Learners acquire conceptual awareness of the most essential rules of English in relation to their native language, crucial to develop creativity. Some people might hold the view that language translating apps will completely replace the necessity of language education. No matter what the future has in store for us, I intend to explicitly address Asian learners' unique difficulties from their perspective. The driving force behind my work is on behalf of learners who either don't know where to start or don't necessarily need translating apps, but feel like they have come to a dead end. Regardless of learners' goals, education, and proficiency levels, my intention is to provide the missing piece and help learners move beyond surface imitation and effectively expand their range of English language skills. My ultimate purpose is to empower a wide range of learners around the world by raising their conceptual awareness of the phonological, grammatical, and semantic obscurity between the two fundamentally different languages. My efforts to fight the long-standing educational practices cause frequent misunderstandings from some educators and learners at times. I only want to express the unspeakable pain that many English learners have long endured. Combating the widespread misconceptions, collective unawareness, and secrecy, I fully recognize the magnitude of the task and its insurmountable challenges. I see my purpose as a part of something much bigger than myself. Technology has the power to free us from human limitations. Most of all, the goal of machine learning is to find the best possible learning algorithm. The author of Master Algorithm book argues that control of data and ownership of the models learned from it is what many of the 21st century's battles will be about. The author goes on to say that machine learning alone will not cure cancer. Cancer patients will, by sharing their data for the benefit of future patients. All we need to do is provide the right kind of data and discovering the deepest regularities. Taking into account 2 generations of empirical study, my concrete model provides an example of how to resolve the causes of intricacy and obscurity during the second language learning process using Korean language learners' experiences. I want to share the right kind of data and the statistical regularities drawn from Korean learners as a group in my algorithm design. While I focus on Korean learners, my model is an archetype that can be applied to all English learners around the world. My concrete model offers the missing piece, the solution to resolve the phonetic, grammatical, and semantic obscurities for learners around the world. Sharing the data of varied obscurities, drawn from learners on a global scale, will spark new directions in research and development and transform the process of second language acquisition down the line. I see limitless opportunities working closely with both native and non-native speaking educators and experts in a wide range of fields on a global scale. I seek not only to offer exceptional guidance to all ESL educators, but also to pave the way for other non-native speaking educators around the world. It is my dream to work with the leading minds of Envisionaries, technology experts, scientists, and educators. By providing the missing piece, I desire to help other learners reach their full potential with a fully established foundation, crucial to develop creativity that serves the distinct needs of the wide range of learners. I actually would have wanted it for myself 3 decades ago, for being able to feel in charge of making my own personal goals and dreams come true. I truly want learners to be able to decide the scale of their own satisfaction and dreams fully equipped with creativity. I'm calling for broad change in all language education by raising conceptual awareness between 2 different languages. Taking into account 2 generations of empirical study, my concrete model offers the missing piece, the solution to resolve the phonetic, grammatical, and semantic obscurities for learners around the world. It is crucial to make both educators and learners become conceptually aware of the phonological, grammatical, and semantic obscurity between the 2 fundamentally different languages. The solution to the intricate and inexplicable nature of the second language learning process is certainly not prematurely adopting spoken interaction. Surface imitation might appear as good enough for some learners and their native speaking educators. However, surface imitation neither achieves learners' creativity nor resolves the obscurities, which is the primary aim for second language education. My learning algorithm design has already given new insight into individual Korean learners' levels of understanding and their performance, as well as statistical regularities in data extracted from Korean learners as a group. After spending 30 years studying the English language, I could no longer just wait for other learners to wake up one day and suddenly gain clarity. It is fundamental to make learners become conceptually aware of the phonological, grammatical, and semantic obscurity within a learner's native language in relation to English. I'm calling for broad change in all language education by reshaping public views on the second language learning process.